My name is Marvin. This is my 1999 Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX. Two of my brothers, when I was a kid, they had this car, and then my other brother had the 99 Civic Si. I just used to get dropped off to school in the cars, and I always gravitated towards this one because of the sounds it would make. I remember I would just be in the passenger seat and see him shift and all that, and it would do the turbo noises, but at the time I didn't know what it was, but it was just, I don't know, it just got my attention. When I got out of high school, I remember I was looking for a car, and one of my buddies came home. So he started making a big deal about it. At the time, I wasn't too familiar with it. My brother previously had came to me and he asked me if I wanted to buy the car off of him. I hesitated, I told him nah, because I just wanted to venture out into another car because I was just so used to seeing it in the driveway like since a kid. So, but then when my buddy came over, since he was hyping it up, I started kind of really paying more attention to it. I went up to my brother like a few days later and I told him if he was still willing to sell it to me, and he told me yeah. And then previously to that, I was playing the Need for Speed Underground games, and I used to always get this car. I used to get the Supra too. That's actually one of my favorite cars. So the Supra's always been my dream car. I actually went to go look at a Supra, and I actually had a buyer for this car, which was one of my buddies too. I went over there and to check it out, and it turned out that it had an oil leak. The coolant was kind of muddy, so I was thinking that it was something with the head gasket. I didn't want to just buy it and then sell this, not have a car to drive. And I actually had a daily, but I was gonna sell that car too. You know, I was gonna be in a very bad spot and I wasn't financially stable or anything. So as much as I really wanted that car, I had to let it go. And at the time, the Supras were like 30K, and I just started working with, you know, the Eclipse. I still liked it, but I was really trying to get another car because I had a blown head gasket. I just had it sitting and I just kind of lost motivation. It took me a while to get back into it. You know, I had it sitting in the garage for like 3 years until I was able to fix it. I actually didn't have the budget to take it somewhere, so I ended up doing a gasket with me and one of my buddies, and we pulled it off. I think I had it for like 2 months, and then my bottom end gave out, so then I had to let it sit again and then just wait to, you know, try to fix it again. And it took me like about 2 years. I was able to do it, and I took it to some shop called RS Performance in Upland. Now they ended up doing the whole motor build. Yeah, but before I was even doing that, I had another daily, and it was just a BMW 328i, and it was a cool car. I kind of wanted to have something to roll with homies and all that, you know? So I started throwing money into it. I fixed it up aesthetically. I don't know, after a while, I think I had it for like 2 years. It got to the point where I didn't even want to see that car no more. Like, I don't know, I just grew out of it. I was in LA and some guy pulled up and he had a E92 M3. I remember he pulled up next to me and I was like, damn, I wasn't even into Beamers at all. Like, it was just like an emergency car that I got, the previous one. But when that one pulled up, I looked at it and I was like, damn, like that thing's sick. And he took off and I felt like the little baby, you know? It was just, I had a regular one, so I'm like, damn, I want that car. I just ended up with the M3, the E92, and then this one was still at the shop, and it was at the shop for like around a year. And I was just kept like, I was getting really desperate to drive this one because this one's the one that gives me that hype, like when I'm driving it. You know, the other car is cool and all that, but I don't know, for some reason this one, it just doesn't really, the other one doesn't really do what this one does. I don't know, I think it's just, you feel everything, like when you boost it and all that, you feel everything. So it just seems more like a little go-kart. Like, so once I bought the car off of my brother, the first thing I did was take it to the paint shop because it was, all the clear coat was coming off. At the time, I didn't have my license yet, so when I got it back from the paint shop, my brother, he still wasn't letting me drive the car. I think I was like 17. So he was driving me around in it, and I was always a passenger, and I was like, man, I really want to get in the behind the wheel. and he wouldn't let me until I got my driver's license. I had it painted with those, I used to have a set of white 5-spoke wheels. I never knew the brand of it because my brother was the one that threw them on there. I just had it like that for a while, and then he had the Fast and the Furious era tail lights with the circles, and at the time I didn't really think too much of it. I was just, you know, enjoying the car. But then the older I got, I was like, man, like these ain't it, you know? I kind of got inspired by Mo Supra. I don't know if you guys know him. He's on IG. I saw him rocking the Aeroflow. And before that too, I actually had ran into Miguel DSM over, because one of my coworkers at the time, he knew him. And I remember he had a splitter kind of like mine without the fins. And I just thought it was just so different. So I was like, damn, like it looks pretty dope, you know? And then I ended up getting wheels for the Enki RPF1s. I've always wanted a diffuser for this car, but I just didn't want anything to look too crazy. And I was looking online, and I ran into the RX-7 top secret diffuser. Then my nephew ended up getting one for his car, and it was off of a 350Z. I ended up getting the diffuser and just kind of just holding it up with him, and then I stepped back to look at it, and it looked like it was gonna fit pretty good because, you know, it was aligning with the rear bumper. That's how the diffuser came about. For the aesthetic side of it, I have a Aeroflow Dynamics splitter with canards, carbonetic side skirts, then the diffuser from the 350Z. I did the wheels and just the paint job. So for the interior, I have Brom seats, the brackets and harness, Mishimoto shift knob, AEM water gauge and oil temperature gauge. So for the engine mods, when I first got the car, I ended up getting an eBay turbo. You know, at the time I was younger, so I just wanted to make power. Within 4 months, it gave out on me. I was hearing it whine. I ended up buying the FP68 HTA, 1000cc RC injectors. I got it tuned. When I got that car back, man, I was freaking from stop to stop, from light to light. I was just gunning the car. Like, yeah, I was crazy. I ended up getting in trouble a lot. I ended up getting like 3 speeding tickets. This car, like, I want to have it as just something clean, something to drive around. I don't really want to race anymore like back then. I don't really want to go back to my reckless days, you know. I ain't trying to race people out there, you know. I just want to have it for shows and stuff. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Marvin, and this is my 1999 Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX.